You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
What's up, Yinzers? Welcome to the Mark Lesko Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Rudd, and this is Black and Gold Mondays. Well, I'm starting to do a theme with all of my episodes for Black and Gold Mondays, starting here. And the first theme I'm going to start doing is rosters. And that could mean players or coaches. And we're going to go in order that we are currently in for who's in play. And that, of course, will be the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, guys, this is awesome. 6 in a row. Being a part of that, ceremony with the 2016, the 10-year anniversary, seeing those amazing players, the HBK line, the great, just awesome memories that the Pittsburgh Penguins had 10 years ago. And listen, 10 years later, Crosby, Malkin, and Letang are all back in this conversation. We are now second place in the Metropolitan Division. We are right there on the heels of the Hurricanes. We're keeping pace, and yeah, it's about as good as it could possibly get. But let's dive in right now to what I'm looking at with the roster. I mean, these players, I'm only going to look at the top 6 players for each subject I'm going to make. But like you see up here, the subjects will be games played, goals, assists, points, and plus and minus. Those are the only things I'm going to focus on. Now, if you look at these 6 players right here, Sidney, the first thing that looks at games played, it's just right here, Sidney Crosby, Brett Kulak, Anthony Manthea, Tommy Novak, Parker Witherspoon, and Ryan Shea. I mean, these all guys have played all 53 games, but naturally, Crosby is just absolutely on another planet than everybody else in this team. He is going for MVP right now. And this guy is playing at the MVP level at 38 years old. There is nothing more impressive than when a player does something of this nature, especially at that age. The fact that he still shows up like he does, this is why you are competitive. This is why you have to always appreciate players of this magnitude. This icon, this is one of the greatest players in the history of the NHL. I could not be prouder to be a fan of this team because of a guy like Crosby. Seeing him throughout his career, and again, like I said, this dude and I only are separated by one day. He is a day older than I am, and it's just really cool to know that a guy that is basically the same age as me doing what he's doing, it's just a really cool connection with that. Yeah, and he's just the greatest. I'm very much happy with what we're seeing from a guy like this at this point in his career, still showing it after 20 years in this league. That is amazing. This guy's still putting up MVP level stuff in 20th season of his career. This is just awesome. And again, Anthony Manthea has been such a huge pickup. The right wing we have in him, it's just showing so much grit. And again, I know the guy's about 30, 32 years old. So he's in that age where it's like he's right there in the prime of his career, still making a lot of great plays. I know Tommy Novak, he's done enough to really solidify himself in the roster at center. And, Parker Witherspoon, I know the guy has done a lot in terms of defense. He's been a huge help with that too. But yeah, ultimately what you have with goals, I mean, Sidney again, this is just amazing. 27 goals, and he is still going strong. Anthony Manthea, again, still in that right behind him. Brian Rust, another great name. He has been doing some spectacular things, too. I very much am impressed with what this guy provides. He has been with us for quite some time. I very much enjoy what I see from him. Justin Brezu, I mean, yeah, right wing. He has had a lot of great moments so far this season. And, of course, Evgeny. This is what I have to point out, too. Evgeny has only played 38 games. He has played 15 less than what everyone else that could play throughout the season. Like, he has 15 games less than everybody else, and yet he is the 5th best goal shooter in this lineup. That's why he is my favorite. I love Sidney Crosby. Absolutely. He is an icon. Everyone in Pittsburgh loves this guy. But Evgeny Malkin is my personal favorite player. He just has the best mentality. He has the best attitude. And this is why you have a competitive team. Players like him are the reason why you always are in the conversation. This is an amazing player. I always love the guy. And Connor Dewar, he is absolutely phenomenal. I very much appreciate what he has brought to the team. He does enough. And Ben Kindle, 18 years old. He's played 50 games, and he is the 7th best goal guy. I just wanted to point that out. Only 18 years old, but he has 12 goals in his young career. That is a great sign of things to come. Ben Kindle very much could be the next name we talk about when this trio is over. But assists. This is what I love about Sidney, guys. Sidney is like the assist king to me. He never, ever has a season where he's not putting up these types of numbers in assist. He's just a genie. He's just a wizard on that rink. He always finds a way to make it better for the other players. He is always looking out the rink. He can see every scale and every inch of it, and he knows how to put the puck right where it needs to be for the guy to set it up. He is just that masterful at it. Erik Karlsson, that's a pretty amazing thing. To know that he doesn't have pretty much any goals to his entire season, but he has 30 assists. That right there is just why it's so important, especially from a defensive player. That is huge to see that many assists from a defensive guy. Awesome. And again, Malkin, 15 games left than everybody else, and he has 2 assists less than Sidney. And of course, Chris Letang, that's what he has also been known for in his career. I don't have to look at his goals to know that he is not contributing in that regard, but he is doing everything he can in assists. And yeah, Brian Rust is there too, and Menthea. That's pretty much what you're showing right now between Crosby, Malkin, and Menthea. These are like the 3 most important players. Seeing all these big numbers from all of them shows what, if they don't have these guys, this team doesn't even exist. And of course, the points. Sidney is just, again, putting up the insane numbers that you can ask from a guy his age. And of course, Malkin, that's just remarkable. 42 points. Again, 15 points less. Imagine if he played all 15 games like Sidney, he'd probably be at 60, 65. It would just be unbelievable. Menthea doing what he does. Brian Russ, Erik Karlsson, and Tommy Novak, all of these guys are huge with the points. Oh, this is why this team is competitive and why they're at the point they are. But Ryan Shea is being the leader in the plus minus. He's plus 22. This is such a huge improvement for a guy like him. I mean, yeah, does he have a lot of assists? It's okay. No goals, played the most games, but he has really put himself in this lineup all the time. And he's a good defensive player. He's not the greatest, but he's doing enough to earn all the plus and minuses. And Evgeny, what more can be said about Evgeny? Again, with only so many games played, doing what he does, it's just a remarkable player. And I love watching the guy. So, and Anthony Menthea, Blake Elizotti, Arcia. I don't know if that's how you say that name. Arcia. Oh, God. I'm sorry if I butcher the name. But yeah, this is really important to see these types of players show up too. All of them are centers. A lot of them are centers. One right wing, a defensive player. Listen, this roster here, guys, it's just one of the better. It's just awesome. Like, to know that these guys do what they do every single day. I'm just impressed with it. To know that these guys are still in the hunt, doing what they do with the whole division. Like, again, with the Hurricanes doing what they're doing, the Islanders, and there's also the Devils. Yeah, like the Metropolitan is very much anyone's to lose, but the Hurricanes, I think they're only about 5 or 6 points now ahead of us. So we're creeping up, and if we can go into the break solidifying second place or coming closer to first, guys, this is going to be an awesome stretch for the rest of the NHL season. So it's a pretty darn good situation to see the Penguins in, and you couldn't be happier with it. So it's awesome. So let's move on now to the Pirates, guys. Oh, this is going to be a really tough situation. This is going to be tough. Eugenio Suarez has gone to the Reds. It really does baffle you as a Pirate fan. It does, because this is probably the most active that the Pittsburgh Pirates have been in the offseason and acquiring players, between trades, between, free agency. Like the fact that they got guys like Lowe, Ryan O'Hearn. Ryan O'Hearn voluntarily took the deal that the Pirates offered him, and that should be enough. Again, watching this organization make enough moves where it's like, guys, they're trying to be competitive. I have to give it to them this season that they're actually trying to be competitive. But now we're starting to see, and I'm going to try to be nice about this, but there's no other way to look at it, the basic attitude of these players, knowing that, and again, I warned them about a month or two ago on one of my topics, was they were going to try to push $110 million payroll, but then I entitled it 110 million reasons why you don't come to play in Pittsburgh. And there it is. Eugenio Suarez obviously didn't want to come to Pittsburgh, knowing that his options were Cincinnati and us, and he has played for Cincinnati. Yeah, that's really the only reason why I think the guy went to that team, because he's familiar with them. And is it the biggest crime for him to have that reason? No, I don't think that's ever a reason. You can't blame the guy for wanting to go to a team that likes him, that knows he can hit home runs there. It's one of the easiest ballparks to hit home runs out of. A Great American Ballpark. It's it's a hitter's dream. So it's going to increase his numbers, but folks, it doesn't help anything. The fact that he basically went to the enemy. He went to the team in your division. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just so unfortunate that this team has the reputation that it has for never being competitive, and players that, free agents, they know this. So I can only imagine when he was pretty much being asked to play third base, when he knows he's not a great third baseman. He's not. Defensively, he is not a great third baseman, but he has numbers to back them up. So he's a great DH. And I feel like that's really what it was about. People have asked me, like, Brian Hayes already went to the Reds. Why do we need another guy that's a third baseman? Because they're probably going to use him as DH. And we're probably going to use O'Hearn or maybe Cruz, guys like that as our DH, and we just need a third baseman. Now we're going to have to set up for Jared Triolo. Not the fact that Jared Triolo is not a Gold Glove winning guy in that position, but his numbers offensively will not scare anybody. This is really what it comes down to. We had an opportunity, and the deal is what makes it even worse. Of course, the deal, it makes it worse. It's a 1-year, $15 million deal. Even the Pittsburgh Pirates can do that. Again, it just shows you that Suarez had no intention of coming to play for Pittsburgh, because he hates this organization for what they have done. And I don't blame them one bit. I cannot fault any free agent who has this attitude of, I don't want to come here because they're not going to be competitive. They don't want to be competitive. And the years are hurting them. Like the reputation over the years has hurt this team so bad. And it's showing. We are now facing one of the worst situations, for free agency, at least. Because, again, I thought that we would get over that hump when we saw that we could give a 2-year, almost $30 million deal to Ryan O'Hearn. I'd like to think, again, a player that wants to be competitive on a competitive team. If $15 million a year is not enough for you, I don't care what the ongoing rate. I don't care that players in this league can make $20, $30, $40 million a year, in free agency. I understand that teams can do that, but the fact that a player can't be satisfied with that much money a year, that's just saying how much we need a salary cap, because these players need to have a little bit more humility when it comes to their offers. I just don't think I don't understand why a player thinks $15 million isn't enough for them. The fact that it has to be 30, it has to be 40, it has to be the most money that you could possibly get. Folks, it's that is a rarity. Like Paul Skeens is in that category of that guy deserves pretty much the entire bank. Like, that's the truth. If you can produce like a Paul Skeens level guy, that's when you know you can be warranted that much money. But the fact that $15 million a year is not enough, again, it just shows favoritism. It just shows their preference, and he didn't want to come here. But now we got to look at the roster as it stands right now going into the 2026 season, because, guys, spring training is just a couple weeks away. Oh, I'm so excited. Baseball is almost back, folks. That means warmer weather. It means that we're going to actually enjoy some good stuff. And there are some guys to be looking forward to. I mean, if we show this roster as is constructed. Constructed? That's not a word. Let's see here. So what you have here is your pitchers. The current pitchers on this staff are Braxton Ashcraft. And again, seeing these numbers, I don't really look into like the profile, but it's like 6'5", 220. That is a huge dude. Hunter Barco, lefty, 6'4", 235. That is fantastic. You can't ask for more from a guy's build than that. And then you look at this dude, Brandon Bedeas. I don't know how you say that last name. 6'2", 158 pounds. That guy's got to look like that. Like, that's incredible. That's a tall, lanky guy. Bubba Chandler, 6'3", 218. Now we're talking. That's a little better. Wilbur Dotel, 6'3", 178. Again, another bean Polish kind of guy. That's insane. Ryan Harbin, yes. 6'4", 195. That's pretty good. Thomas Harrington, 6'2", 185. That's not bad. And Jared Jones, I could not believe how it's like. I didn't think the guy was that shorter than the other guys. I know when he stood next to guys like Mitch Keller and Paul Skeens that he was shorter, but I'm like, man, I can't believe he's only 6 foot. But being 190, this dude will be back hopefully by the end of April, early May at the latest. He looks like he's on the right track, guys, and I'm really hoping that once he gets in there, it's going to be the best rotation in baseball. You just watch, guys. I mean, we're going to be putting up some awesome numbers pitching-wise this year. Mitch Keller, 6'3", 212. Antoine Kelly, 5'10", 183. That's a pretty short dude for a pitcher. And Justin Lawrence, 6'3", 213. Dudes, he's, I think, our oldest reliever, and that's great leadership. I think that's a good guy to have in your bullpen. Isaac Matson, that was a great story last year. Local guy, never had a, I don't think he was on a AAA team or any kind of affiliate with the minors, but he shows up and earns a spot. 6'2", 215. That's about as good as it's going to get. Carm Majinski, 6'2", 220. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Mason Montgomery, 6'2", 205, lefty. That guy we got from the Rays. That is or the Astros. I forget who went from where. But yeah, we acquired him in that trade with the Rays, Houston, and us. And yeah, that's great to see another lefty in that, to see that his stuff hits 100 miles an hour. It's a potential for a very nasty reliever. And Nichols, I don't know why he's still on this team. He seems like the new Colin Holderman ordeal. And Johan Ramirez, it's not the best showing that he's had this year. Dennis Santana, that's basically built as our closer. I mean, I would put him probably, of all the 30 teams in baseball, I'd probably put him in the middle. I mean, he's probably 14th or 15th tops in the, reliever or closer. So is it going to make them the best bullpen? We'll see. Evan Sisk, I mean, he's okay. I don't think he's the most terrifying, lefty. But he doesn't do terrible. Paul Skeens, guys, 6'6", 260. That is a tight end. Holy crap. That is unbelievable. I mean, that's awesome. To know this dude is just going to turn 26 years old this year, that's a show that we are going to see the best version of Paul Skeens yet. This dude is going to be breaking numbers. He is going to have the best career probably in the history of the game. He will go down as Walter Johnson, Sandy Koufax, Randy Johnson numbers. Like, it's going to be amazing. And Gregory Soto is a great bullpen option. However, I did just look his numbers up recently. Good God. I think he, in his last 15 games, he was 1-3 with a 7.7 out of the bullpen. I don't know what to make of that, but let's just hope that's kind of like he was just on the back end of the season. It was over. Let's just hope he kind of bounces back, because we need as many lefties in that bullpen as we possibly can get. Because right now, we don't have a single lefty in the rotation. our rotation is all righties. So I'm going to assume they're going to try and go and get a guy like Jose Quintana again, because he has played here before and he actually liked being here. So that's a plus for us. He's a great option. He is a workhorse, and it's a great lefty option. I liked having him here when he was here, and it would be great to have him again. But now you look at the current roster, active roster with the catchers. Joey Bart. I really am hoping this dude brings his bat back this season, because right now Henry Davis is the best catcher with the framing. Every pitcher likes to catch with Henry, but this dude has no offense whatsoever. The number one overall pick in 2021 or 2022, it's one of the two. The fact this dude has been in the league now for 3 years and has put up the numbers he has, there's nothing else to say, guys. It's a bust. I'm sorry. I hate that I'm using that word with a number one overall pick, but the dude has like no offense whatsoever. I'm not saying that he can't find it now, because again, some players do take years to develop. It is not like it happens overnight with some guys, but it's the Pirates. I love knowing that this has always been the problem with this organization. They don't develop. They don't try to make anything better. So it's like, you got to come with it. And Henry Davis obviously didn't come with his bat. He has a great framing. He's a decent defensive dude, but when it comes to that bat, it's non-existent. So hopefully that changes and we have some more production out of the guy, but it's very unlikely. Rafael Flores Jr., that trade we made with the Yankees last year for Bednar. Oh, could we use Bednar? Oh, man, if we had Bednar, it would be so solidified of our pitching rotation. But here we are with this option, 6'4", 232. He's going to be 26 years old this year. I mean, that's right there in the prime of your career. Does he have what it takes to be a major leaguer? I mean, he obviously couldn't hack it with the Yankees, but that just means he's probably perfect for the Pirates. That's really what it comes down to. If you're the worst player on the Yankees, you're going to be the best player on the Pirates probably. So it's a possibility this dude will show up and give us something to be impressed with. I mean, he could come out of nowhere. It's very possible. The last time we got a Yankee catcher, that was Russell Martin. Just want to throw that out there. It's possible we could see another resurgence of something like that. So let's move into the infielders. Jack Brannigan. Did not know this man existed. Nick Gonzalez. I mean, we're basically put up or shut up with Nick this year. He's been in the league enough where he's shown flashes, but it's not consistent. Hopefully this guy figures out how to be a part of this. Spencer Horwitz, I very much appreciate everything he does. I was very impressed with what I saw this season. He was a great pickup, and it probably one of Ben Sherrington's best offensive pickups he's ever had. So that's pretty darn impressive. He's going to be 29 this year. He's right there. Hopefully we can get the most out of him while he's here. And Brandon Lowe, that trade is a fantastic trade for the offseason. I mean, dude has been in this league now for so long. He's been a fantastic veteran leader. And the fact that he's going to be 32 this season, he's right there still in the prime of his career. He still has plenty left to play for. And yeah, looking at O'Hearn, this is the same situation. Going to be turning 33. He's going to be a huge name for this lineup. I'm very impressed with what they were able to sell him on, and he was sold. So I'm very happy to know that a player actually wanted to come here and produce. So hopefully that's the thing. Bring the dang bat, and hopefully it rubs off on everybody else. Now, Andy Rodriguez, that's an interesting thing. They don't have him as catcher. So they're going to platoon him at first or something? Is that what the plan is with him? I don't know really why that's the case, but that's guess what they wanted to do. I would love nothing more than to see the version we saw of him when he showed up with the Pirates. It would very much be it would be a nice surprise. Do I see it happening? It's possible. Could he very well own the first base side with Horwitz? That would be nice to see these two guys switch off. But O'Hearn's also a first baseman, so just seems like that's too much traffic, but it would be nice to see the version we saw of him when he got here. Jared Triolo, again, what more can be said about it? The guy's a Gold Glove winner at third. It would be nice to see this dude produce, but that was a fluke thing, they said, when he came up first with his bat. And it was kind of that thing. He had a lot of lucky hits, and he hasn't looked like that since. It's been 3 years since the guy has shown up. It just seems like this is wishful thinking, and I really wish they had another option, but we're going to have to deal with it. Emmanuel Valdez, 5'9", 190. Man, being that, he's going to be 28 years old. I mean, the fact that he is finally making a push in the majors, I don't know. We need all the help we can get offensively. So if this guy can produce anything like that, that'd be fantastic. Nick York ending with it. It's tough. Like he could be okay. I mean, but I don't see that being like the reason why it's all of a sudden going to work for the offense. But it's just a name. It's just an option in the bench if we ever need a guy. So with the outfielders ending it up, Billy Cook. I mean, he's going to be 20. He just turned 27. That's not a bad year, but he's been up and down. He has not shown that he can stay in the majors. It is what it is. O'Neal Cruz. This is it, guys. I mean, I feel like this is another put up or shut up. It's like Nick Gonzalez. He has been so inconsistent. I feel like this should be the surge year for him. He's going to be turning 28 at the end of the season. It's right now the best time to really use all that massive 6'7", 240 frame to start hitting homers. They just need to produce with them. That's just the bottom line. Oh, God. Janexon Garcia. I don't want to say that guy's name wrong. But I know he was the guy we picked up from the Red Sox trade with Oviedo. I mean, he's going to be turning 26 this year. I mean, right there at the prime of his career. Wait, 24. Yeah, 24. I'm sorry. I can't do math. No, is it 26? Yeah, jeez. I love when I show my education. 26 years of age, going to be this year. It's 163. You need to put about 20 more pounds on you, bud, at least. If you're 6 foot, man, that is a small dude. Jake Magnum, I'm really interested in seeing what this guy's going to bring. Because, again, he had a breakout year and his 29-year season. He's going to be turning 30 next month, right before this season starts. Hey, do everything you can to show why you were traded for. I mean, it's very important to see that. Brian Reynolds, being a switch hitter guy, again, this is the bounce back year for him. He needs to return to form, and that should be the case. I mean, yes, this was the worst offensive season he ever had. I think that all the off-field stuff, like I know he had kids, I know he has a family, so it's like trying to adjust to that, I would like to think is virtually impossible. I mean, I don't know how these ball players do it when they have a home life and the road life they have. I'm sure it was a lot to jumble that schedule. So it should be a much better season for him. I think he'll have a better mindset because, he's just going to focus on the game because now he's got his family stuff in order. Like, hopefully that is what was the case, and he's going to have another great season. So you're looking at like a bounce back play, a comeback player of the year for him. Hopefully he does that. The fact that Andrew McCutcheon is not on this team and Jack Sawinski is tells you a lot. It really does round it all out, guys. I mean, what? He is just 20. He's going to be 28 years old. Okay. I mean, I don't know what more to say, but this right here just is not necessary for them to give this guy this many opportunities. I'm sure he is a great human being. I'm sure he loves playing in this team because no other team would play him probably. But this is the situation you got. I just only hope that he earns a spot. He definitely showed it 3 years ago, but hasn't been that since. And then we're wrapping it up with Valdez, 6'2", 181. I mean, it's just a name. I mean, he's going to be 22. He just turned 22, so he's got a lot to prove. The roster itself, guys, is not the thing that really strikes fear into the MLB right now. But I know that rotation-wise, this team is absolutely one of the more impressive teams to look at. So I'm very much interested in seeing how they're going to handle the lineup. There's still time before spring training to go and acquire someone. They can go and get a Hosuna. They can go and get Ventos from, I think that's the Mets. I think that's how you say the guy's name. But yeah, there's still a chance to improve that lineup. But right now, we're the 4th best team in the NL Central because the Reds got Suarez. That really is what it is. We were tied for third with the Reds, and then that tipped the scale in their favor. So now we're hoping that we're not dead last and the Cardinals still stink. And that's really what it's looking like, because the Cubs, as far as I'm concerned, look like the best team on paper on this team. And the Brewers always show up every year, no matter what their lineup or what their roster looks like. They always are at least the second best team in that division. They just know how to run themselves correctly. And the Reds right now have just tipped the scale their way to being a competitive team in there. So now here we are on the outside looking in yet again. And, dude, it just stinks to know that this organization can only be competitive if they ever put in a salary cap. That's the only way this team will ever be competitive. That's really what this is showing, that they'll have no choice but to have this system put in so they can be competitive. Ugh, it just stinks, guys, but that's what you get. So hopefully they have a great season and they use what they've got to the best of their abilities. So let's move on to the Steelers and the big news that they have just now acquired Patrick Graham as their defensive coordinator. And people are like, oh, man, what are they doing? Folks, he's a better option than Terrell Austin. I'm going to tell you that right now. I think one of the Muppets would be a better option than Terrell Austin at this point. Patrick Graham is an improvement. He is. May not be the biggest improvement, may not be like, oh, we just went into elite status, but he is much, much higher up than Terrell Austin would be. So I'm not that upset about it. So, I mean, if we bring this up, see here. I mean, Patrick Graham, guys, defensive coordinator, has spent the last 4 seasons with the Las Vegas Raiders. His 17th year coaching in the NFL. I mean, he has spent time with New England in roles. He has been with the New York Giants. He's been with the Green Bay Packers. He was with McCarthy, Miami Dolphins, and the Raiders. Now, again, they are at the time, like he had defensive roles with New England Patriots in 2009-15. Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic to know that he was in that big organization at that time. They were still one of the more premier teams in the league at the time. The Giants, 2016 and 17, I think that was the years they were slowly transitioning from being good to bad. And then the Packers in 2018, I think they were on the back end of that year where they, were no longer that competitive. But, I mean, still, Aaron Rodgers was with them at the time. So, and then the Dolphins, I mean, yeah, that's not something to brag. And the Raiders, like, oh, dear God. I don't really know how much of that you can blame on the coordinator with Carroll. Like Pete being brought in, I think that was not going to be the big thing that was going to push them over. And you know what? Max Crosby, that's what you got. I mean, defensive names, I'm not the greatest when it comes to roster naming, but I'm sure Brett could tell you guys better than me. But the Raiders, they don't have the biggest names, but yet they were ranked higher than the Steelers on total defense. So that tells you a lot that a guy can do a lot with nothing. So the fact that he can make that ranking that good, I can't honestly ask for more than that. So with the coaching changes they've had so far, I know they've got a new offensive line coach. I know they got guys coming in defensive roles. I know basically every one of them is a Mike McCarthy guy. So, yeah, it's becoming like the Penn State Nittany Lions situation with Matt Campbell bringing everyone from Iowa State. It's like McCarthy's bringing everyone that used to work with him back into the coaching staff. And again, does that mean that it's going to be a bad thing? I don't think so. I just feel like the Steelers really have to look, for what they're going to improve upon, because that's really what this is all about. Regardless of, can we make the playoffs every year? Do we always have a winning team? But we need to solidify these positions better. And in terms of coaching, it needs to be more competitive. That's really what this was all about. These players are great players, but the coaching staff was never handled right by Tomlin. That really has become an obvious thing. The fact that Terrell Austin had his job shows you a lot. And the guy that they should not have gotten rid of, and Danny Smith, that's just my opinion. The dude always produced great numbers. And if we still had that name on the coaching staff, that really would have shown that they were really going to try to find ways to be better But no, we just have to now settle for whoever comes in and takes that position over. I feel like we have a lot of questions in the offseason when it comes to the defensive side of things. Yes, we have a lot of things coming up with the draft. I will be starting to dive into some players in the NCAA. I'll start to really see what our options are, what our positions are most needed. I will be doing a whole segment on that next week. I think I'll make that announcement starting next week. I will be starting to look more towards the NFL draft. We're still months away, but I'll start to really dive into what we need to look for and what we need to do to improve in those positions through the draft. And again, bring in a guy like Mike McCarthy. He is going to be a guy that tries to solidify that draft. I mean, that's really what we're looking for. We're looking for a guy that's going to go into the Pittsburgh draft and give us the best names they can get. And it's obvious that we need to get a wide receiver. That is a given. But the question is, who's the best wide receiver option in our point in the draft? Like, that's really what we're looking at. Could we trade up for a guy? That's another option. That should be something they need to look at. But yeah, the wide receiver is obviously the best or most important. But that's also, like, again, you can't be looking quarterback for this particular class. No offense to the guys that are not Mendoza or Sims or Tyler, is that his name? Sims? I don't know. I forget. I'm not good with the college names, but I'll be getting on it. But ultimately, these moves that they have made for the Steelers as coaching position, I mean, yeah, it's not like, oh gosh, now they're going to be the biggest threat in the AFC or whatever. I feel as if we are making positive steps towards that conversation. I think that is very much what you need to look at. And yeah, does it make them the best team in the AFC North? Does that make them competitive in the AFC? I mean, only time will tell. But I do believe that Graham is an improvement over Austin. So that right there is the best I can do with that. So guys, I'm going to wrap this up here. This whole episode, yeah, it's been great. I really appreciate what we have going right now with the Penguins. Obviously, the Pirates, it's still a question. We still have time before spring training, but it stinks that these names always want to not play. But this is what you've given. That they've made their bet about this. They have reaped what they sow on that. So, and then the Steelers, it's still a long off season. We are months away from the draft. We're just getting settled in. The Super Bowl is this weekend. Oh, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be the Seahawks and the Patriots again. But, I actually can root for these two teams because I like all the coaching. I like all the players. It's actually going to be a fun Super Bowl to watch. But I'll give a prediction on that just real quick before we go. Seeing what they have done in this season with their defense, with how they just conduct themselves, I am predicting this is going to be a blowout game in that regard of, like, this is not going to be close. This is just a win for the Seahawks. I'm not saying Drake May and Mike Vrabel don't have a shot, but these players on Seattle, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and just watching how Sam Darnold has made a great story for himself to, show up in his 30s to maybe potentially be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And is it Mike McDonald? I think that's the coach for the Seahawks. He's first-year head coach, and what more of a statement can you make than you led your team to the Super Bowl in your first year? This is such a cool story. So I'm picking the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl this year, and it's going to be a score of like 30-14 or something like that. So hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. I will see you guys for the next one. And hey, until that time, guys, enjoy being black and gold.